Biomed Nexus Daily. Updates your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Biotech M&A has reached 106B in 2026, putting the year on track for the best deal-making year since before COVID, according to CNBC. AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Bristol Myers Squibb have each allocated more than 16 billion to collaborations with Chinese drug makers since the start of 2025. The US Supreme Court sided with Hikma Pharmaceuticals, ruling that its generic version of Amarin's Vascepa, icosapent ethyl, does not infringe the Irish company's patents, according to Fierce Pharma. The ruling has implications for cardiovascular generic competition and patent enforcement strategy across pharma. Eli Lilly, LLY, reached a Medicare agreement that includes Foundayo and restores coverage for Zepbound, erasing what Biopharma Dive described as a commercial edge for rival Novo Nordisk. Gilead, is laying off 192 of approximately 220 Arcellx employees, 87% of staff, following the close of its 7-8B acquisition, according to Biospace Warn notices. The cuts affect the Redwood City headquarters and Rockville, Maryland operations. Executive Takeaway CNBC put the number on it, $106 billion. That is total biotech M&A in 2026 through early June, and it puts the year on pace to be the strongest since before the pandemic. The article quoted EY partner Jessica Kumar and Forbian's Sander Slutweg, describing a market where companies are buying stuff like it's going out of fashion. The drivers we have tracked all year are now consensus: patent cliff urgency, 320B in revenue exposure by 2030, deep cash reserves, attractive biotech valuations, and a historically productive China licensing pipeline. CNBC noted that AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and BMS have each committed more than 16 billion to Chinese partnerships since the start of 2025. Fabian's Lundborg said, clearly the interest in buying assets out of China is not fading, despite Coins Act pressure. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court's Vascepa ruling is a significant IP precedent. The court sided with Hikma's generic, which means Amarin's patent estate could not block competition. For pharma companies relying on patent thickets to extend exclusivity, AbbVie's Rinvoq 2037 settlement, for example, the ruling is a reminder that patent strategy has limits, and Gilead's post-Arcellx layoffs, 192 of 220 employees, are the starkest illustration of what M&A integration actually looks like on the ground. Read, full analysis, what to watch. Revolution Medicines, CNPV filing still awaited. The ASCO plenary was 6 days ago. NEJM published. Expanded access granted. The filing announcement could come any day. Lilly Foundayo Zepbound Medicare coverage. The restored Zepbound coverage and inclusion of Foundayo erases Novo's Medicare Advantage. Watch for uptake data after the Bridge program launches, July 1st. Gilead integration. After cutting 87% of Arcellx staff, the anito-cel program for multiple myeloma is now fully within Gilead's organization. Execution risk is the story now. ADA 2026. The American Diabetes Association meeting is coming this month with GLP-1 and obesity data as the headliner. Medicare GLP-1 Bridge, July 3rd, 26 days out. M&A and capital markets. Biotech M&A hits 106B, on pace for best year. Since pre-COVID, CNBC reported on June 4th that biotech deal-making has reached 106B in 2026, putting the year on track for the strongest M&A performance since before the pandemic. The article noted several key dynamics. AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Bristol Myers Squibb have each allocated more than 16B to collaborations with Chinese drug makers since the start of 2025. EY partner Jessica Kumar, companies are focused on buying products that are going to be commercial soon, alongside investing in earlier stage assets to get access to new technologies. Forbian's Lundborg, I don't think pharma is panic buying, but the pace reflects a ferocious pace across diverse modalities, including oncology, metabolic disease, and central nervous system breakthroughs. Forbian's Lundborg on China. Clearly, the interest in buying assets out of China is not fading, despite regulatory uncertainty. This aligns with the Reuters 84B Q1 figure, Dealogic, and BioWorld's 93B through April. The 106B CNBC figure covers a slightly different time period and methodology. Regardless of the exact count, 2026 is a historic year for biopharma deal-making. IP and patent law Supreme Court sides, with Hikma on Vascepa. Amarin loses patent fight. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Hikma Pharmaceuticals' generic version of Amarin's Vascepa, icosapent ethyl, does not infringe patents held by the Irish company, according to Fierce Pharma. The ruling opens the door for generic competition in the cardiovascular fish oil market and sets a precedent for how method of treatment patents are evaluated in generic challenges. For pharma companies that rely on patent estates to extend branded drug exclusivity, the ruling narrows the enforceability of certain patent claims against generic entrants. Corporate and business developments. Lilly Medicare. Deal restores Foundayo and Zepbound coverage. LLY Biopharma. Dive reported that Eli Lilly reached a Medicare agreement that includes coverage for Foundayo and restores coverage for Zepbound, erasing what had been a commercial edge for rival Novo Nordisk. The deal means both Foundayo, oral GLP-1, and Zepbound, injectable GLP-1 GIP, will be available through the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge program launching July 1st at a $50 copay. This levels the competitive playing field between Lilly and Novo in the Medicare population. Gilead cuts 87% of Arcellx workforce post-acquisition. Gilead is laying off 192 of approximately 220 Arcellx employees following the close of its 7-8B acquisition, according to Biospace Warn notices. The cuts include 108 at Arcellx's Redwood City, California headquarters, effective June 30, and 84 in Rockville, Maryland, through April 2027. Arcellx's lead program, anito-cel for multiple myeloma, is now fully within Gilead's organization. The scale of the cuts, 87% of total staff, illustrates the operational reality of large pharma acquiring small biotechs. The science transfers, but most of the people do not. The week in review, June 1st, Monday, ASCO Plenary, Revolution, Resolute 302, Full Data, OS HR 0, 40 PFS HR 0, 49 NIJM published, expanded access. Akeso Ivonescimab OS HR 0, 66, first Chinese drug in ASCO Plenary. J&J Eliada Proteus, prostate paradigm shift. June 2nd, Tuesday, ASCO. Wrap up EV304 bladder cancer 55, 8% PCR. Colonia in vivo CAR T data. Chrysalis 2, 41-month OS. Apogee, Blackstone, Wendon 3B. Hengrui 90+, ASCO studies. June 3rd, Wednesday. Pfizer, Innovent, $10, 5B, 12 oncology programs. Lilly, Hasco, 3B+, 5 programs, 11th deal. GSK KIT inhibitor, ASCO data. June 3rd, Wednesday. Lilly, Acidian, $1, 9B, RNA exon editing, 12th deal. BMS Anthropic AI partnership. Moderna Ebola vaccine partnership. Lilly plus Boehringer / Germany investment 1B plus each. June 4th, Thursday. CNBC Biotech M&A hits 106B. SCOTUS sides with Hikma on Vascepa. Lilly Medicare deal restores Foundayo plus Zepbound coverage. Gilead cuts 87% of Arcellx staff. The week ahead, June 2026 ADA 2026, GLP-1 obesity data. June 2026, Takeda CEO transition, Julie Kim. June 27 to 25, Bio International Convention San Diego, imminent, Revolution. Medicines, CNPV NDA filing. July 1st, Medicare, GLP-1 Bridge Program launches. August 22nd, Capricor Deramyocel PDUFA Duchenne Cell Therapy. Read Full Analysis Biomed, Nexus. Pro-Institutional Intelligence Brief 106B in context CNBC's 106B figure for 2026. M&A through early June puts the year on pace for approximately 200B to 250B full year, consistent with earlier projections from Reuters, 250B, Dealogic data, and Jefferies, 172B, narrower methodology. The key drivers remain patent cliff, 320B in branded drug revenue, faces LOE by 2030, companies must replace declining franchises. China pipeline, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and BMS have each committed 16B to Chinese partnerships since early 2025. The licensing wave shows no signs of slowing despite Coins Act pressure. Capital availability, Lilly alone has deployed 30B plus across 12 deals. Gilead committed 15B in Q1. Merck, AbbVie, Novartis, and UCB are all active. Biotech valuations, despite the recovery from 2022 to 2024 lows, biotech valuations remain below 2021 peaks, making clinical stage assets attractive relative to their data quality. Forbion's Lundborg, I don't think pharma is panic buying. The data suggests she is right. The deals are strategic, diversified across modalities and therapeutic areas, and increasingly backed by Phase 3 data. This is not a bubble, it is a structural realignment of the industry. Vascepa. The patent strategy lesson, the SCOTUS. Vascepa ruling is a warning for pharma companies that rely on method of treatment patents to extend exclusivity. Amarin's patent estate attempted to block generic icosapent ethyl by claiming the method of use, reducing cardiovascular risk in patients with elevated triglycerides, was patented separately from the compound itself. The court disagreed. The implication, method of treatment patents are harder to enforce against generics than composition of matter patents. Companies like AbbVie, Humira, Patent Thicket, Rinvoq 2037 settlement, have used settlements to avoid testing their patent estates in court. The Vascepa ruling suggests that if those cases had gone to trial, some patent claims might not have held. For BD teams, when evaluating the durability of branded drug exclusivity, discount method of treatment patents relative to composition of matter patents. The SCOTUS precedent makes the latter more defensible. The integration reality Gilead paid $7.8B for Arcellx. Within weeks of closing, 87% of Arcellx's 220 employees were laid off. The science, a Nito cell for multiple myeloma, transferred. The people did not. This is not unusual. When large pharma acquires small biotech, the acquirer typically retains the lead program, a handful of key scientists, and the intellectual property. Everything else is absorbed into the acquirer's existing infrastructure. The Arcellx cuts are on the higher end, 87%, versus a more typical 50 to 70%, but the pattern is consistent across the industry. For biotech employees at acquisition targets, the acquisition premium goes to shareholders. The operational integration typically means significant workforce reduction. For investors, integration risk is real. The 87% cut means Gilead is betting it can advance a Nito cell without the team that built it. That is a bet on Gilead's internal capabilities, not Arcellx's. Catalyst calendar, June 2026. Forward date, event tickers. June 2026 ADA, 2026, GLP-1 obesity data. LY, NVO, KL June 2026 Takeda. CEO transition, Julie Kim. TAC June 22-25 BIO International Convention, San Diego. Multiple imminent revolution medicines, CNPV NDA filing RVMD late. Q2 Lilly Foundayo T2D filing under CNPV LLY Q3, 2026 revolution. Medicines Arcellx Recipe approval projected. Truist, RVMD July 1 Medicare, GLP-1 Bridge Program launches, LLY, NVO Q3 2026 Teva, Emalex, close expected Teva July. 31 Section, 232 Pharma tariffs, effective, large companies, multiple August 22 Capricorn Deramios LPD-UFA, Duchenne cell therapy, CPRH2, 2026 Merck, SAIC, TMT, global filing, expected MRKH2 2026 Foundayo, T2D regulatory action expected LLY 2026 Triumph PH2, Rite TrueTide T2D, readout expected LLYD Key 2026 Mineralis, Lorundrostat, PDU FAM LYS 2027 Rite TrueTide, launch anticipated, BMO, LLY Deck 7 Lilly Investment Community Meeting LLY Visit the Pro Hub Read, Full article: is your company listed in the Biomed Nexus directory? 2104 companies across 14 categories. Claim or upgrade your listing. Sponsorship slots for 2026 are limited. See packages and pricing. New Biomed Nexus signals. Weekly sales intelligence for life sciences BD teams. Learn more.